हर जगह हो जाता है। बैटरी भी तुम्हारी 18 पे है।
बैटरी
हेलो 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 बोलो। When I ask you to give me ask you to give me the mobile. Just give it to me when we were going to talk about the Andaman.
Okay, hello everybody. I think we're live on YouTube. Welcome to another amazing podcast by Valley Wonders. So this is. So yeah, it will take like 2 minutes to get us started. We're setting this up live for you guys. We're gonna give you the best analysis on what is happening between India and Pakistan. There's a war that has started, and that is a war that could start World War III. And give us like 2 minutes. Let us set our hair so we can get this started.
Well, I would like to congratulate you on your first live podcast and hope it goes all well. And it's really amazing, interesting time, but a very worrisome time also for both the people of Pakistan and the people of India, because India is one of the biggest, population-wise, biggest country of the world, and there is almost 1.4 to 1.5 billion people living over there. And you know what full-scale war could do to the populations of both these countries. War is not the better option in any case. Nobody wants war. We've already full to our necks with wars, because we've seen the era of the Arab Spring, in which we had wars in Iraq, we had war in Syria and Egypt, and Yemen and Egypt, and we've seen each one of these countries falling down and getting destructed one by one. We've seen a very, very long, very painful war in Afghanistan for 20 years plus. And by no means any country of the world in today's globalized era can say that they have not been affected by those wars. And we are actually not only being economically affected, socially affected, we are also, all of us, most of us are living at the edge of survival because of these wars. We are living in the threat, under the cloud of wars. And look what's happening today. When all of a sudden, for no reason, for no good reason, there is this cloud of war over Pakistan and India. And just one single incident in Pulwama, which is not also even confirmed as yet if Pakistan had any role in having that incident go on. And there could be the high possibility and high probability is that people living inside occupied Kashmir who are frustrated, who are not happy with the Indian administration, who are not happy with the over 7 lakh, 700,000 Indian army personnel and police and special forces controlling them, the people of occupied Kashmir, with impunity. They are abusing them every day. They are killing their youth every day. They are raping the women, and they're doing all the wrong things over there. And it is high probability that if that incident happened the way it happened, the people of Kashmir, the freedom fighters of Kashmir, the underground youth of Kashmir who is frustrated to that edge, that they are ready to risk their lives, they're ready to get into a hand-to-hand fight with the armed personnel of India and the police of installed over there by India. So the other The other thing that Pakistan media is talking about and boosting all the time is that this must have been a false flag, because India has this habit of making false flags and then immediately, without doing any inquiry, without doing any giving any proofs or getting any proofs, they are immediately call Pakistan the criminal, the terrorist, the intruders and all that, and they are immediately all over the Indian media talking about attacking Pakistan and taking revenge from Pakistan, and they've done this several times before, and this is not the first time. So
firstly, I'd like to say that was a brilliant introduction on the topic. And there's a war that has started, and we're very, as Pakistanis, are sitting very near the India-Pakistan border. We're sitting in Lahore, just like 10 kilometers away from the India border, and we're very, what could you say, tensed about the whole conflict. And that's what the reason of this podcast was, to tell the Indian people. Maybe today we could do also in Urdu, so there is a vast audience that could understand what we're saying.
Because we need to connect with the Pakistani audience first, so we can be bilingual.
So there was a little bit of disruption, and we are sorry in advance if you guys see some thing that goes wrong with the audio. We're still trying to fix things up. And I was just looking, watching inside, and there were like 5-6 concurrent viewers when you were talking about the issue. So firstly, we need to discuss the elephant in the room. The whole world has seen the strikes. Maybe I could also put the strikes. So there's a video that would be going on. Where will it be going on? So firstly, I was watching this movie clip. It's a nice clip of Modi shooting today. AI is going crazy. It's really going crazy. They don't have to do these things, but they are apparently. So let me show you a video of what we're talking about. So yesterday, we see this big explosion
somewhere in occupied Kashmir.
Not occupied Kashmir. This is Pakistan-controlled Kashmir, and these are the visuals of a bomb attack that was carried out on a mosque, which killed like a few civilians. And I mean, look at the size of the explosion. And why would the Indian army not attack Pakistani military installations? What do they have against the normal people? And this is something that we see in the Gaza-Israel conflict. They don't attack the military Hamas people, they attack the civilians to give them a point. What I think is they harassed the normal people and they tried to create a panic. And there's an attack on 9 different cities of Pakistan. There was an attack on Muzaffargarh, which is like 50 kilometers from here. And Modi, I'm very sorry if my audience doesn't like my language, but he is going crazy. We call Modi a mad dog in Pakistan. That's what we call him. So
we should keep respect, of the worst people even.
For the Modi people. And people don't understand that this could be the start of World War III. That's actually the caption of our today's stream. The thumbnail of our stream is the war that could start World War III. So this is like a very, I don't know, usually you see other countries in war, you see Russia and Ukraine going in war and you're like, we're all good. But when it comes to you and what's the first thing that a person feels?
Mm-hmm.
Can we should we fight against the Indians ourselves and go in the army, or should we leave the country? And what is going to be the future? What I think, what we all thought was that this was only a gimmick war. It was there was some face saving that would happen, a few bombs, a day or two of firing, and then this conflict would end. But it seems like, and that's what I also want to highlight in this live stream, that there is greater powers involved. There is, of course, China involved and USA involved. And then there's also about the defense. Defense is, I don't think they can hear that. So it's all right. That's not picking up in the mic.
Achha.
So,
No, I was thinking that fighter jets are going.
No. There's a construction going on in the background, and we're hearing some of that, but we're scared that that might not be construction, that might be Indian jets flying over. So, what was I saying? I was saying that bigger powers are involved, like America and India and China. Why China? Because China is being secluded from the world due to the trade tariffs, and obviously China would not want its industry to go to India. And on the other hand, America wants to isolate China in this great battle. Maybe that's how they isolate a full-scale war between Pakistan and India, and China comes to protect Pakistan. And that is like a scary, scary thought that this could really be a start. Because can we truly believe that if this war goes on for the next 15 days, it's just a war between Pakistan and India? Because already we see Bangladesh getting involved. Already we see Turkey sending its warships that have entered our Pakistani territory. And a war between Pakistan and India is not a war between Pakistan and India. Exactly. It is a world war, because obviously other countries are going to get affected by that. So could you please give us our 2 cents? And I'd just like to mention that I'm very excited to have Anila Shahzad, because she's a geopolitical analyst and a writer. And we usually did a lot of shows previously on geopolitics and what is happening in the world, and we're usually telling that the world is going to end, but this is the first time that I really felt yesterday when we heard 12 p.m. At night that the bombs were going on, that I really felt that we should have you over as a guest and discuss in detail what is really happening in the world and how...
Yes, you are exactly right that any full-scale war between Pakistan and India will not be just a war between two countries. It's going to be a war between, because India is actually the strategic partner of the United States, and they have strategic ties, they have weapon deals with each other. They are like, the USA has been pumping India to build its military, because what India actually needs and what India actually wants is that all the industrial backyard of all the industries should come into India, and India wants to become the next China. But what actually Europe and the US is doing with India is that instead of giving them all those industry and all those things that they did for China, they're not ready to do that, but instead they have been constantly asking India to build its military, to buy their weapons. In the military defense budget of Pakistan in 2024-25 has been around $7 billion. And in contrast, the military budget of India for the same period has been $74 billion. And what is India doing with all that money, $74 billion? It's on a shopping spree of weapons. It buys weapons from Israel. It has been the biggest weapon purchaser from Israel. It buys from France. It has been buying Rafale fighter aircrafts from France, and Modi has actually ordered 26 new Rafale fighter jets from France in the last few weeks or so. And it is Trump has been asking since the trade war has begun, and days before that, Trump has constantly given Modi the message that he wants India to buy weapons from the USA. So that is a different trajectory of what the US did with China some 20-25 years ago, and how China became such a big industrial hub. They are not actually ready to do the same with India because they don't trust India. I don't know, maybe they do, but there is a stark difference between the two people. China is the Han Chinese people are docile people. They have not been involved in wars. They are not imperialists. They don't want to occupy other countries' lands. All they want is to have their own lands back, like they want Taiwan to be given back to them. They want Hong Kong and Macau to be enter back into their country. They want to secure Tibet. They want Arunachal Pradesh back because they think that was part of Tibet, but they don't want to do wars. They've never been interested in doing wars, but India is totally different. It has a totally different mindset, and since independence, since 1947, India is being seen as a big brother in the South Asia region. India wants to control the foreign policy narrative of Nepal, of Bhutan. Bhutan has actually got a pact with India for so many decades now that they are going to, India is going to form their foreign policy. They're not going to do it themselves. The same thing has been since 1971, since Mujibur Rahman freed East Pakistan from the West Pakistan and made Bangladesh, and we have all our good wishes for Bangladesh. But since then, Mujib was bound in this a kind of foreign policy dictate of the Indian government. They imposed their will, their narrative over the Bangladesh foreign policy picture, and that is a reason why two countries that were actually one country, they have brother countries, two brother countries have been reacting with each other like step brothers for the last 3, 4, 5 decades. We don't want to talk to each other, we don't want to visit each other, and we are total strangers after 1971. How did that happen? This happened because after independence, India made sure that Mujib and his daughter always stay in power, and they follow the foreign policy picture of India, and they did the same. And they made the same effort for Sri Lanka. They wanted pro-Indian governments installed in Sri Lanka. They did that with Maldives. The only country that has always stood against in the Indian narrative is Pakistan. And India is, a country that is Indian politics is filled with the hate Pakistan narrative. Here in Pakistan, most of our intellectuals, most of our in our media, this thing is portrayed that why not we can do friendship with India, why don't we do business with India, why do we have to fight wars with India? And we actually we want to build ties with India, but that is not the case in India. What India does is totally and profoundly opposite to that. The external affairs minister Jaishankar, if you follow him every day in his speeches, in his interviews, in his press conferences, there is hardly any speech or hardly any press conference that he gives, and he does not mention Pakistan as a terrorist and a harbor of terrorism and
number one exporter of terrorism.
Yes, they take Pakistan as their number one enemy. And when I say that they have been spending $74 billion a year buying all those weapons, all those weapons are meant to be used against Pakistan and against China. If there is this global war that you're talking about, if that happens, then that whole arsenal is going to be directed towards.
And why is Bangladesh's caretaker government, is there Khan Yunus?
Yes, Mohammed Yunus.
Mohammed Yunus. Why did Mohammed Yunus, before India attacked Pakistan, say that if India attacks Pakistan, then he's going to attack India with all its forces? And he talked about something about the Five Sisters.
Yeah.
And Xi Jinping was also talking about the Five Sisters. So is like China going to fight Pakistan, China, and Bangladesh going to fight like 2.5 border war, like 3 guys against 1?
Yeah, that would be impossible for India to counter, because I would like to remind you that in 2020, there was a skirmish between China and India on the Aksai Chin area, and at the time Chinese forces had entered into Ladakh, and according in the words of the Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, at that time he said that China has entered Ladakh and occupied 38,000 square kilometers of Ladakh. And I'm going to tell you that they are still there. They have not left the area. There have been rounds of talk after rounds of talks between the delegations, and India has been consistently asking the Chinese to just go back to the status quo before May 2020. But China says, okay, we'll think about it. But they are still there. So what does that show? That India could not protect its land from China in even Ladakh, where they have, like 7 to 8 lakh military. They have all this police and all this arsenal fit inside Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. And Ladakh is considered as more pro-Indian area because there are less Muslim population in Ladakh. So if they couldn't do that, what are they thinking? That what will they do? And Bangladesh is in such a good position that there is only this very thin, I think 10 to 17 kilometers road or pathway that takes the mainland India, connects it with the 7 sisters, 7 provinces that lie behind Bangladesh. And if Bangladesh only cuts that route, all those 7 provinces will go away, will be cut off from India. And what will happen? Because in each one of those provinces, there are separatist movements. They all want to be independent of India. So what kind of a war does India think is going to fight against? And China, China is ready to occupy Arunachal Pradesh, which is one of the 7 sisters. And China is also ready to take more land in this occupied Kashmir, which I just told you about, Ladakh. So what's going to happen?
That's the point. It's like a very sticky situation, and India has already lost a few wars against China. There was a war in the 70s.
61, 62, I think.
Yeah, so they lost by a very humiliating defeat. So India might be bigger than Pakistan, and India might be able to bully Pakistan. They were also responsible for the 1971 war, in which they split the 2 countries. But the point is that India can't bully China. And China is usually the bully on the block. And even though when we see that India and Pakistan are not together. Still, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh are not together. Still, Bangladesh comes up with this massive support for Pakistan.
That's happened after the ouster of Hasina. That wasn't the case before
but still, it was unprecedented because what we heard that Bangladeshis used to hate us like anything. And now with this thing happening,
totally changed. Things have totally changed for India. Actually, I would like to also remind other viewers that Sri Lanka went through, financial crisis just 1 or 2 years back, and at the time, India was trying to have the Sri Lankan pro-China government ousted, but they were like not successful in doing that. That same government is still over there. And after that, there was an election in Maldives. And in Maldives, there are Indian troops have been stationed in Maldives for decades now. And a pro-Chinese government was elected in Maldives, I think just an year ago. And immediately, the new government asked the Indian troops to leave. So India has been losing friends very quickly. In the South Asia region, it's lost Maldives, it's lost Sri Lanka, it has lost Bangladesh, and it has also lost Nepal, because Nepal has been having skirmishes with the Indian side, because India, the source rivers of the river Ganga comes into India, passing through some area of Nepal, and India wanted to get inside Nepal and take control of that area, and they have been like having this conflict, border conflict with them, and they're not happy with India. They think that India wants to control their water.
India is like that with a lot of countries, other countries, and for a long while. I don't know why this Hindutva ideology and this ideology that Hindus are going to become this great nation, while India has more Muslims than Pakistan's whole population. I think the first one is Indonesia, and the second one is India, and Pakistan is third in the Muslim population. So, and why do they have to fight like 10 wars with all their neighbors? Are they, is India afraid of something? We also see,
I don't know.
We also see that a lot of these insider little wars or these insurgents are everywhere in all the states of India.
And exactly.
And why they're also very bad with Sri Lanka. Why is India and why is this Modi? That's what I wanted to talk really about, the ideology of these Hindutva and these RSS leaders.
Exactly.
What are they trying to prove and what are they trying to achieve? It's
they
like horrendous. But before we go into a little depth, I also wanted to discuss what has been happening in the past day. So I have a few videos to show. So this is a video of the aftermath of an explosion. They destroyed like 3 or 4 mosques. Now, this is also a big thing that we're thinking about. Why are they attacking religious and these? I also heard that the Islamic University of Bahawalpur or Bahawalnagar was also attacked. So they're attacking a university as well.
This is exactly what you said, that it's exactly the same formula that Israel uses in Gaza and West Bank. And what they do, they just hit whatever target they want to hit, and then just they say that we have hit terrorist hideouts. I mean, how do you know? Prove to the world, go to the ICC, go to the United Nations, tell them that these are the hideouts, tell the Interpol to come and check over there, and then you have some grounds to hit a place. Are you a democratic country? Are you a civilized country? Are you a civilized people? How can you just throw bombs on civilians and then just say that you have killed like terrorists? Where is the proof? I mean, who is the terrorist? You are actually the biggest terrorist. You have terrorized the whole, population of Jammu and Kashmir for the 7 or 8 decades now. With all this, your like impunity and these laws that you have made in Jammu and Kashmir, wherein your army and your police can do anything with the people of Kashmir with impunity. Nobody's there to ask. That is terrorism. You terrorize the people. You abuse the people. You terrorize them. You are making genocide against those people, actually. So who is to blame over here?
And this is not coming from a person that is like just a normal Pakistani. We're also Kashmiris, our background.
Yeah.
And Anila Shahzad, her father and her mother were both Kashmiris. And they fled from the Kashmir side of India's, the occupied side of Kashmir in 1948.
Yeah.
And we know a lot of things that are going on over there. And it's just horrendous to see. The point being that Pakistan told the world, I don't know, International Court of Justice or National Security Council, that why don't you guys have independent investigation on the Pahalgam incident?
Yeah,
Pulwama. Pahalgam is this one. Pulwama is the last one.
Right.
So why doesn't India want to go and see the facts? Maybe these insurgents were operating inside India, Kashmir occupied India as well, and they are not insurgents and they're not destroying things and killing people because of Pakistan's military aid. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe because of the brutality that these Kashmiris are facing for such a long while.
Yes.
And there's no end to the resolution. That's why I think that there's a cover-up game. This could be a false flag operation.
Right.
Why do we think it's a false flag operation? Because it's like putting fire to oil. How can we have such a big war, a war between two countries and potentially nuclear nations, which could end in thousands or millions dead? And how can you start this war? You just have to kill 26 people in occupied Kashmir. And where was all the military? All these videos that I'm seeing now, and people are saying that where was the military? That area, Pahalgam, is like
Tourist
destination. Sorry if we're having some problem with the audio today. We'll fix that in the next live stream. And thank you if you guys are still around watching us with all the bad audio. So where that strip of area, we have to know that Kashmir, this area has the most amount of military presence by a foreign force, like by India. And where were all these army people on the attack? It seems like they just went away and these terrorists came and killed 26 people, and that was like the perfect time. Modi was what was Modi doing? Modi was with J.D. Vance at that day. So Modi, it was the perfect time for Modi to really prove the world that Pakistan is a terrorist nation and we want to attack Pakistan.
Right.
Could you answer this, and I'll just be back in a second and continue.
Yes, false flags are, a pet thing for India, because I've been writing about the Mumbai attacks also, and I've done a lot of research on that. And things were proving at that time that that also, maybe whatever happened in Mumbai was also a false flag, and India did that because it wanted to start a war, not maybe start a war with Pakistan, but it wanted to create the narrative that Pakistan is a a hub of terrorism, and Pakistan is a better of terrorism, and it is importer of terrorism. And since that Mumbai's 9/11 incident, there is hardly a day that goes by that India does not call Pakistan a terrorist. And so just for building up that narrative, and just for building up a hype, and there might be other political reasons, because there is so much internal politics in all countries that maybe when governments are thinking that they are not being supported, and their ranking and rating is going down, at those points also they like to have these incidents when they can put up a show and try to tell be able to tell their people that they are heroes and they are fighting the enemies, and the whole nation needs to stand behind them at that time. So that is also something that governments do sometimes. This air of war that the US wanted to start with China, because China, when Biden was there, every month Biden would say that China is going to attack Taiwan in few days or a few weeks or a few months, and if China attacks Taiwan, we are going to come to help Taiwan. And he was creating this air that there is going to be a war, and a big war, and we're going to come in. But China was very patient, and China totally avoided any type of war, totally avoided to put even one soldier on the soil of Taiwan. And this is something again that I would like to add also, that when I said that India is spending so much, 74 billion, around 74 billion a year on defense purchases, and they've also started so many indigenous weapon production, and ships productions, and even aircraft productions, and they are being prepared on the behest of the USA, that you are going to be the base for fighting the big war against China. And I would like to add, if you could open Google Earth for me, I would like to show the audience that China has this is India, and if you go close to this in the Bay of Bengal, you go to the eastern side, you can see this Andaman Islands over here, and India already has a big naval base on the Andaman Nicobar Islands, and these islands are very close to the Malacca Strait. They are facing the Malacca State, and what India has announced just a few weeks ago, that they are going to build underground nuclear submarine fortress facing the Malacca Strait. That means just around these islands, they are going to make something underground and dig inside, and they're going to land several of their nuclear armed submarines over there, just so that if in case of a big war between the US and China, India will be in a position to block the Malacca Straits, and China would be cut off. Its whole trade with the whole world is going to be cut off because of this. So this is the type of thing that India is looking forward to. And you're right that if India is thinking like that, is India gone mad or something? Because India is right now not in a position to compete with China unless India thinks that it's just going to put on the show, and the US and its allies are all going to come and they're going to do all the dirty work. Maybe that's what they're thinking, and maybe the US is promising them that the day they defeat China, we are going to make India the new China. So maybe that's the dream Modi's following, because he's that type of irrational person.
And if we look at America, they're also having a lot of troubles. America is a power that is falling, and China is a power that is the next
Rising.
big thing in the next century. So yeah, they might be desperate to make this deal right now. And plus with the trade tariffs, when Donald Trump put like 275% tariffs on China, it was like a big joke, but their bond market started to crash. And how does America print so much money? Why are they the world reserve currency? Because everyone believes in the dollar system, and there's no asset behind the dollar. Dollar is a loan. It's a liability to the US government. So when the stock market started crashing, Donald Trump got really frustrated and he had to cut down the tariffs because we see Japan. Japan might not be that significant, but they're like the third biggest owner of US treasuries. Only Japan has around $1 trillion worth of US bonds and treasuries. So there was a little sell-off in the bond market and everyone got panicked and Donald Trump had to stop it. Now, isolating China, they had this plan to isolate China, but now America is the one that is being isolated because people and countries are wanting to trade in other currencies, and people are trusting nobody, if you ask me. And all these currencies have a counterparty and a geopolitical risk with it, and people are moving towards more safer assets. Like we see the Russian gold price, it just exploded. And the way it seems, if there's a prolonged war between Pakistan and India, then the dollar dominance is going to go down again. It's the best currency in a dirty basket. I don't know, that's what they call it. But yeah, China is also making a trade route from Pakistan, which is called the Belt and Road Initiative. And China has, CPEC. And China has invested like billions of dollars. And in total, they want to invest like $65 billion in India. In Pakistan. Forgive me for saying something wrong. So yeah, in CPEC. So the war that has started, if people don't know, it's Kashmir is very close. Jammu and Kashmir is very close to Gilgit-Baltistan, and China might think to take over some of the area between or with Gilgit-Baltistan, that is the border crossing from Pakistan to China. So if they cut off this route and take some part of Pakistan, that would
You're
really...
saying India wants to take?
Yeah, might be. That would be a really big blow for the whole Chinese system. Although I never understood what happened to the CPEC. We have all this infrastructure, and we now have roads, and we're making railways, and we have the Gawada port, but it was never used as like this big next thing that was going to compete Dubai. And maybe all of this was because of the fact that India, this big enemy, is just right across the border. And I always had this feeling that Pakistanis, for some reason, don't want to go to this Western sort of a system, which is a debt system, and they don't want to do this extravagant spending on all this infrastructure and everything, and prop up their own businesses. Like when you see Wall Street and Main Street, and when you see Amazon buying their own stocks and Google buying their own stocks, and these economies, this is also another great point. China has like trillions of dollars invested in USA stock market, and Donald Trump is saying to the Chinese people to take their money and just leave and not invest in USA stock market, because if there's such a big bubble that everyone's investing all over the world, then the prices that you see the price to earning ratio for all these stocks is out of this universe, I guess, because it is not possible that they have such little earnings and the price of the share is like 20 times. That's the ratio that is going on. So it's like the economy is already hung over, and the economy is already gone so far that now when they fall, there's nothing beneath them, nothing can stop that. And it's like, I don't have the proper analogy for this, but if the Chinese investors and all the other people leave from the USA stock market, there might be some stability. The prices that we see right now, the stock market that has been so overpriced, might come back to a normal, sane level. And that's really the system that now in this world, after 2025, we're moving towards a multipolar world in which USA also wants to have USA doesn't want to have this reserve currency status, and they don't want to overprop their own dollar asset, and they might want 2 or 3 powers to share the world and share the economy.
It doesn't look like so. The way they're doing wars and initiating more wars all the time doesn't seem like they're ready to share that superpower status that they think that they are the only owners of that. But let's see if the way you're saying maybe Trump can change that, and it's about time. So I would also like to give you insight on this CPAC thing, that China has already invested almost $60 plus billion in all this infrastructure, and that starts from Gilgit-Baltistan, and then from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and then comes all the way down into Balochistan. And there's been a network of roads, and there's been a network of power plants and economic zones that has been they have been in completion or completed. But we see that the fruit of the CPAC is not coming out yet, because of the reason that the global economy as a whole has been in a recession from 2008 or something, and most of the countries of the world, they have like 1% growth or maybe negative growth for so many years now. So globally, you see that there is inflation in every country, prices are going up, and like utility bills are going up, and there is less and less trade. And there was yet to see, we had to see any recovery, that we were like hit by the COVID crisis. And just couple of years after the COVID this crisis, we see now that we have this trade war. And this trade war is really such a war that it has cut off, the globalized chain of, what do you call that, supply chain. Because this thing has started since Biden, because he's the one who he started the semiconductor war, if you remember. He said that we are not going to give the chips, and we are not going to give all that, research work and all that. We're not going to share the thing, and we're not going to let the TMC sell the very sophisticated chips to TSMC. So all that is happening. The whole world is going through a global recession, and that's the reason why we are not seeing the real fruits of the CPAC that we wanted to see. And yes, you're right about Gwadar, that the people of Pakistan, they are not taking the initiative. Big businessmen, big, investors, they are not taking the initiative to go in this new place, in this, a semi-desert place, and put their money in there and invest and make infrastructure, help the government make and build the infrastructure. And if the infrastructure is there, automatically world trade, ships, all those things are going to be attracted over there. So that is being a barrier that hopefully, just like the trade war ends, we will see CPEC and Gabada growing, inshallah.
And also Pakistan has been isolated. Pakistan is the most isolated nation because we have a bad reputation.
Yeah.
And plus we have this India that has been going up since the past few years, and India tries every place, everywhere it goes, it tries to isolate Pakistan.
Exactly.
Pakistan is also isolated because Pakistan is a nuclear nation. And a nuclear Muslim Islamic nuclear power with like 1,500 tanks and like 200 fighter jets and nuclear missiles is not a nation that is favored by the world.
Pakistan used to be above the 10th military rankings, and this year it's gone down to the 12th number. So it is one of the biggest Muslim military power. Turkey is, I think, above Pakistan in the ranking.
So the international global system, the European system, never wanted to see this nation prosper. And
Yes, because basically we're in the China camp.
yeah, we're in the China camp. And China could also have given, transferred its technology or given some power to Pakistan, maybe started this whole trade route. But now when I do have this feeling that they might be waiting for the right time to get CPEC started, because if CPEC starts and Pakistan becomes a prosperous nation, how much time did China take to build these mega cities? They've built these cities in the last 5-10 years, and Shenzhen and these cities were like villages like 15-20 years ago, and now there are like mega cities that could rival any city around the globe. And recently this streamer called Aisha Speed went to China, and he humanized the whole Chinese people, how creative they were and how friendly they were. And he showed all these places, and China did not have any garbage, nor did it have any junkies laying on the street. And the beauty of their skyscrapers and the beauty of their landscape and all the facilities and all these robots, you only see like a few companies that are merging really AI with robotics. And these Chinese manufacturers recently had this 2-kilometer race in which all their robots ran, and China is way ahead when you come to robotics and artificial intelligence even, because ByteDance and TikTok and all these big people, they're now on the leading front of AI research. All these papers that are coming up, some of them are from the Western nations, but a lot of them are from the Chinese companies. Because obviously, if you just take into the consideration of the amount of people, more than 1 billion people that live in China, and their work ethic and how dedicated and how long they work 12 hours a day and 7 days a week, and they really take pride in their work. And all these Western universities are filled with these Chinese students. They're going on and making all this big business because of the reason that all these Chinese foreign students come to their universities, pay all these thousands and thousands of dollars. And now those Chinese people who had an education abroad are also willing to come back to China, because China now is making too much money. And they have a big middle class.
Because China wants to be the hub of research and development also now. They want all that in their country, so that's why they are going to attract all researchers from all over the world now, and their own children also. And the interesting thing I wanted to add over here was you're talking about Chinese companies, and what this war has done is that the news that the Pakistani fighter jets, which were purchased from China, the J-17, I think.
J-17 Thunders and the PL-15 missiles.
Yeah, they were bought from China, and the Chengdu company is making those. And those fighters have hit down and put down the Rafale jets that were purchased from France, and that's been a big advertisement for both these countries. And overnight, the stock prices of Chengdu have gone up 17%, and the stock prices of Rafale have gone down 7%. So that's been a very interesting angle of this war, and I think this is a unique thing. It's never happened before that when the moment you have this war and the moment these two aircrafts are checked on the field, the same time their stocks go down, because people are no more interested in buying the Rafales just because the Indian army was, pilots were not good enough. They couldn't fly them, although they
actually we have this video that I wanted to show as well. So this is from India Today, and this is 6 years back. So 6 years back, what happened was, this is not Pahalgam, this is Pulwama, and Abhinandan came with his fighter jets, and Pakistan military shot the fighter jets and captured this Indian Air Force pilot. Now Modi comes up, and it's the audience can hear this as well, and it's written in the bottom, if our pilots had Rafale during the war, this would not have happened. And that was his excuse to give billions and billions of dollars to France, and he immediately gave them. And there was also a big conspiracy that the BJP government was involved in a money laundering scam, and they bought these jets and also made a huge profit, all these BJP people. And what happens?
Took a big cut from that money.
What happens when it goes against the Chinese fighter jets and their missiles? They totally fail. And yes, you're right. The Rafale company, I don't know what is the parent company that is making these.
Rafale is the company.
Rafale is the company.
Yeah, I think so.
It's losing its stocks. Instantly.
Nobody's going to buy Rafales anymore. Maybe even Modi is going to have to cancel it, because he's ordered 26 more Rafales last week, I think.
Yeah, and he also told the French government to fast track the process, because there was a big war on his shoulders, and he had. And Donald Trump is also a very intelligent man. Why is that? Because India, in its last visit a few weeks ago, also ordered like 30 F-35s fighter jets that are like the 6th generation stealth fighters from United States of America. But what happened? Donald Trump, those jets are going to take like 5-6 months. I'm sorry, 5-6 months to arrive in India, because of all the logistics and because they have to make the infrastructure and do the training and everything. And now Donald Trump is saying that, look, I told you these Rafale fighters are nothing. We Americans are the biggest military industrial complex, and we have the best fighter jets, and now you have to. And now they're going to go again and buy these F-35 jet fighter planes from like America, and spend billions and billions of dollars. And what are they going to find out? And that's also a point, very, very valid point, that you can say that you have the best technology, but unless both of these sides clash against each other, you don't really know
Like you're saying that the thing has to be tested on the field,
barrel tested,
on the
yeah.
battlefield now.
America sent so much of their equipment and their military personnel as well, and also the training to Ukraine. And you also have to know that all of these ammunitions have an expiry date. They have to use when you're making trillions of dollars worth of equipment. You can't just waste it and it's just sitting in a warehouse. You have to use it. But when USA gave all these weapons to Ukraine, they also had all this information, all this data on which of their weapons were the most effective, what was the fault line between which weapon, and how can they make this better. But still, you have to admit that they didn't send their best weapons, because if they send those weapons once, all the world would find out that either America was better at these making these weapons, or America was a total flop. So the best of the best that Zelensky always goes to America and says that we need weapon, we need this weapon, we need that weapon. Why don't the Americans give those weapons that Zelensky is always asking? Because America doesn't want to show that to the world. Maybe their weapons are not that bad, and maybe they might have defeated Russia in some place or some time, but they don't really want to give this technology out to the world or show what's going to happen.
You're right, exactly. You know, because if one F-35 gets like downed, what's going to happen to the biggest military industrial thing of the world? Where the stock prices of that going to go?
Where the stock prices are going to go?
Already, the Boeing has been rejected by some countries a few months back. China cancelled order of Boeing aircrafts. And that's a big blow for the American industry. Or they only have a few industries, and they're also like damaging those. So what are they doing?
That's like a very valid point that I don't know. And
so we should end in this thing that is this war going to be prolonged? And is this war going to be converted into the World War III that you were talking about? Because I don't think, and I hope not. And the real people of India and Pakistan, they don't want a war. And we would like to see in the coming days that this has been a political stunt, and that India is not like that crazy that it's going to really have a prolonged full-fledged war with Pakistan, because it's not in a winning position at all. I think so.
I would like to show our audience this little news that I was watching. Let me just open it up. So the news is, this is the news. So this is the news. Pakistan's National Security Committee, NSC, on Wednesday authorized the country's armed forces to respond to recent Indian military strikes. So today in the morning, after India attacked Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, had this meeting with all his officials, I think in this morning, and they gave the green signal to the army to respond however they want, whenever they want, and the Pakistan army is definitely going to strike targets in India. Although you see that Pakistan also destroyed a few fighter jets on the Indian side. Yesterday. And today as well. I also want to show the audience.
Today they put down the drones. 4 drones.
They put down the drones. Now this is footage of an Indian Air Force pilot. It's going on the screen, and this shows, I don't know, I think he's alive.
The Indian media is totally in a denial, and they're saying that these videos are from years ago or something.
Yes,
old
how?
videos.
Why is the Indian media in such a big denial? I don't understand that they were warmongering for so long, and they fought this whole battle over the social media and the news industry, and this is check post of Indian military, and we heard that there was like massive firing and bombing on this site, and a lot of Indian soldiers died over here. So there was a white flag that was
Oh
waved
yes,
on the
yes, I
Indian
read this news.
because the Indian military surrendered
Mm-hmm.
in this place. And as we're talking, there is heavy firing, heavy firing on between the LOC and the borders. And this is a war that is not going to stop that easily. It could have stopped if Modi didn't do this attack. But what do you think about how Pakistan is going to respond? We already hear that a few
I
major
would.
cities are on the target of Pakistan military.
Okay, you're right. But what I think is that Pakistan has already given a befitting response. They've put down 5 of their military aircrafts. They have put down drones today. So if Pakistan wants to end right now, it's in a good position, and it's in a winning position, that they are going to just say that okay, we have taken our revenge, and now we can stop all this. But then if again Modi makes new strikes, then of course Pakistan military is going to respond again. So it's not going to end like that. But both sides are going to try to end at a position where they look like heroes in the eyes of their own people.
All right, I understand that we have downed like 5 fighter jets or like 4 fighter jets and a few drones. But how do you think that's a response? That was India attacking Pakistan, and Pakistan hasn't responded in any way. Pakistan hasn't entered the territory. And do you really think that India is a nation, not the whole of India, but these RSS Modi people with this Hindutva ideology, and they want to massacre all the Muslims. They want to kick out all the Muslims from India and send them to, I don't know, Sindh, somewhere in Pakistan. Do you really think without a proper response from the Pakistan army, they would not go for another attack?
We will have to see that. Time will tell us that. But you know, and I know, and everybody knows that both of our countries are nuclear powers, and nobody wants this war to escalate. Already, I said that we are so fed up of wars already. Ukraine war is not ending. Gaza-Israel war is not ending. Middle East is fed up of this war, and they are not finding a way to coming out of that. And Middle East, the progress in Middle East is related with Iran. It is related with China. It is related with Central Asia. It is related with Russia and China. And it is, of course, we are all one region. The Asian continent is now one big region, which has so many sub-regions, but we are all affected by wars. If there is a war and it's not going to end in a few months, maybe it's going to go on for years or something like that, the whole world is going to be badly affected, and nobody wants that. And that's why I think sanity is going to prevail.
You're right that we don't want a war, but are we happy? Were Pakistanis happy with the situation that they were in? We're already in 2025 facing such a big financial catastrophe, and the prices of goods have gone so far out that the normal people can't even afford to eat like 2 meals a day. And there was tensions between the Pakistan army and the normal people, and there were tensions in Balochistan, there were tensions here, there were tensions with Afghanistan, and everywhere that Pakistanis look, even if Pakistanis want to escape Pakistan, that's also now a problem. It was a problem since the beginning of time, but now countries like UAE are putting visa restrictions on Pakistan, and people don't even want to give Pakistani people visa to come into their country. And the point is that I think that Pakistan might have found a purpose. After
you're
all,
right in the sense that this is, maybe this is high time that because India is behaving like an aggressor in this whole region,
Yes.
then this might be the high time, because China is also fed up. They want to change the global order. Russia wants to change the global order, and they know that fighting against India means fighting against the US and the West. So maybe this is that high time when they want to really go in like full force, and maybe Pakistan would think, the military would think that, okay, if we all are going to have a real war, then why not take this opportunity to take back Kashmir and liberate it and do the big things that we have been needing to do for so long. And if all this happens, I mean, it's going to be a piece of cake for Pakistan, because Nepal is on the side of China. The only threat that India gives to Pakistan is that they are going to cut off the waters of Pakistan, because of capturing and occupying Kashmir, they become the upper riparian of the Indus water system. But at the same time, China is the upper riparian of the Ganga-Jamna system, and China is also the upper riparian of the Brahmaputra system, the two big systems that bring water inside India. And China has also been threatening that it's going to build so many dams on those two rivers. And what's going to happen if India tries to cut off our water? China can threat if there is a real war. China can threaten. And if Bangladesh cuts off that Siliguri Creek, I mean, India will be like totally, fractured from all sides. So it's not easy thing for India.
And when we're talking about all these things, and we're also then saying that India is the aggressor. Modi is not stopping. Modi could have just done like what he did last time when Pulwama happened. And now with what is going on, this is like a major strike on Pakistan. We also have visuals. Let me show these visuals to our audience as well. So we have visuals from the Neelam Jhelum Dam. Let me see if I can find that. Okay, I can't find that right now, but we have visuals that India has attacked, thrown their missiles on the Neelam Jhelum Dam, and there's like big holes in the walls of the dam, and the dam's electricity generating capacity has been compromised. And when India is doing these direct attacks on civilian people in Pakistan, that's what I was just looking at right now. So we have these images of people, innocent people, civilians being targeted, and we have this image of this. Was this woman? Do you guys really think that the picture of this woman that I'm showing right now, I maybe I shouldn't, because YouTube could ban us, but do you really think that this woman was like enemy number one? She was making the whole Taliban and the whole whatever insurgent group was responsible for the target killing of all these Indian tourists? Was this woman responsible? Now, when India is attacking and now they're accepting that that they're responsible for killing innocent civilians. Now, my question to you is that if India, knowing what it knows, knowing that China might also be in a mood to start a war, they're already looking at Taiwan and all these other places. And India knows that it's going to be a war on all of its fronts. Now, then again, India is the aggressor. So, as the other kid in the block, would you just take a slap on one cheek and then tell India to slap you again on the other cheek? Or
No, I
would
don't
you
think
give
so.
like
I'm not saying that.
befitting response to
Yes,
this
that's what
Hindu
I'm saying.
mentality and
Yeah.
stop them right in their tracks?
But yes, there should be befitting and proportional counterattacks, and Pakistan should do what is needed. But in the end, I mean, we're not looking for a full-fledged war, are we? We both sides should come to a restraint at some point, because these are not small countries. You need to understand, we are big populations.
But the girl, there's this Indian army general or some woman, and she came after attacking Pakistan, and she's like, we want Pakistan to show restraint, we want to de-escalate. You like target 8 cities of Pakistan,
Right.
and then the next thing you're saying that you want to de-escalate. I
Well, the
mean,
way
though
you're putting
both
it,
those things
yeah.
don't make sense, and I think if someone has to die, someone has to die. But we really need to show India right now that this is where the line is, and they've stopped our water
Yeah.
because 2 of the rivers they have already dams on those rivers.
They've actually put extra water. They've opened the water, and
Yeah.
there's
flooding.
There is danger of flooding because of that.
So
They've
yeah,
done this on the Chenab, I think.
yeah. Can you go in some detail on these the rivers of Pakistan? How Kashmir is the jugular of this nation, and how
See, you want me to tell you about the rivers?
yeah, the audience as well. Yeah.
Yes, it's like 3 of the main rivers come through Kashmir. They are the Ravi and the Jhelum and one more. And 2 rivers were those that were coming through Kashmir into West Punjab, which is now inside India, and passing from there, they entered East Punjab and Pakistan. And because that West Punjab is also an agricultural, state, and it's a big agricultural state, so the people of West Punjab also needed that water. So when the Indus Treaty water treaty was made, it was decided that 2 of these rivers are going to provide all the required water in West Punjab, because that is the wheat basket of India, and the rest 3 rivers are going to flow freely into Pakistan. There's going to be no hindrance in those. Even the Sutlej and the Bias, these 2 rivers that come from West Punjab into East Punjab, even when there is more water in the rainy seasons, they let some of the water come in these 2 rivers also right into East Punjab, but most of the time they keep that water. So that was a fair treaty, and definitely the West Punjab also needed some water. But now, because of having occupied that the Kashmir, India is always threatening Pakistan that it's going to stop all those 3 rivers also. It's going to make dams on those also, and then it's going to control their water also. That is what Pakistan says that they're not going to accept, and that's why Pakistan has to repeat and insist that Indian occupied Kashmir is also part of Pakistan. Even though we
Yes.
understand
Yes.
that the people of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, because 7 decades or more have passed, maybe they want to become an independent state, maybe, because new generation has come, youth has come, and maybe they don't want to be part of Pakistan. We understand that. But because of this aggression, because India will never give them that freedom that they want, and because of this threatening, aggressive posture, Pakistan has to insist that India occupied Kashmir is also part of Pakistan, and we are rightly we are right in saying that, because historically we have that precedence. So that's the case.
Yeah. Yeah, that is what's happening. Yeah, that is a very good thing that you just mentioned right now with the dams. Also with the Indus River, we have to know that Indus River is the biggest river of the whole wide world, and Indus is very important for Pakistan because Pakistan depends on that river, and the point is that the oldest civilization that we know of was the Indus Valley civilization, Indus water civilization, or the Valley civilization, which starts from Taxila, which is one part of Pakistan, and it ends in Sindh, in Mohenjo-daro and Harappa and all these places, which is the other end of Pakistan. So this civilization, which was here like 5,000-6,000 years ago, and it was such a big civilization that it spanned hundreds or even 1,000 kilometers. That's how big they were spread out, and they had these cities. Indus Valley civilization was a civilization that was the first one to really show a town planning. The way they had laid their sewerage system, the way they had their swimming pool and ballroom and their court area and everything. That some people say that some people with higher knowledge came to these people and really showed them the best blueprint on how to make a civilization, a place where people could communicate with, where they could trade, where they could hang out and have a good time. So this Indus Valley, the lost cities that were discovered, excavated, now we see that these people were highly intelligent, and this region of the world is like the oldest region where people have existed for thousands and thousands of years, and not just hunter-gatherers, but proper civilizations have been around here. And the river that is the Indus River goes through Pakistan, and really, if you see, it's a run of the river. How do you explain that? You can't really stop that water because there's so much gravity. Water is going to come from a higher place to a lower place because of gravity, and it's such vast amount of water that you can't really just say that I want to close it one day. It would take like 5-10 years to make a structure so large to handle such amount of water. And what is stopping Pakistan from just going in and bombing their dams? Why, in the first place, when they were building these reservoirs and dams on the Jhelum Dam and the other dams, river, they said that they don't want to stop Pakistan's water. They just want to make electricity, and Indians are very peaceful, and they don't want to start these shenanigans. But the point is that now, today, in 2025, they made these dams for electricity in the last army chief's regime, General Rahil Sharif, General Bajwa or Rahil. And now, when the next army chief is Asim Munir, now they're using those same dams to block Pakistan's water, or even to flood Pakistan's water. That's even worse. And now they want to make a dam on the Indus River as well. And on the other side, Afghanistan, the Kabul River, the water coming from the Kabul River, Afghanistanis want to make a dam on there as well.
Yeah.
So this is really the war for water that we always heard about in those folk stories, or when people were predicting that the next big wars are going to be fought on the water, on the clean fresh water, because that's the biggest resource and that's how we live. And this war is not just against Pakistan and India, it's about who controls the water.
Mhm.
Now, you can't really 100% control the water because nature is what controls the water.
But I would repeat over here that the same way that India has an opportunity to make something like 20 or 30 or 50 dams on the waters that come and join into the Indus system. In the same way, the Brahmaputra river, it stretches something like 17,000 kilometers inside Tibet before coming into India and Bangladesh. And China is saying, it's been saying for some months now, that its own waters that used to come from same Tibet plain into their rivers, they are drying up and they need more water. So why not divert that same Brahmaputra, which is actually in their country. They deserve to have that water too. So why not build the dam and divert it into their Mekong river system and their, I think it's Yarlung system. They have 2-3 system that are inundated from these big lakes and big glaciers of the Tibet Plateau. The Tibet Plateau is such a big, it's got so many water reservoirs, that those same reservoirs fill up the Indus system, those reservoirs fill up the Ganga and Jamna system, and those same reservoirs fill up the Brahmaputra, and those same, like there are many scattered over there, and those same, they inundate the 2 or 3 big river systems of China. So water war is going to be a very complicated one. And you're right that if India can just come in one day and hit one of our dams, why can't Pakistan hit the 2-3 dams that they are building on the same Jhelum river, and there's another river that's coming from Kashmir. So why can't Pakistan do it? It's easy for Pakistan also. So if that's going to be the game of the day, then Pakistan can play that too. You're right.
Yeah, that's the point. And India is already doing that. And if it's a fight for water, then any dam that's going to be built anywhere could be a target. And is it like an act of war to target a dam? If India is an act of war, if they're stopping the water, if they're making the dam, and what if on the other side Pakistan is making a dam to stop water to India? Is that even possible? Can Pakistan?
No, we are the lower riparians.
Yeah, but none of the water is coming from the China side, is it?
No, the Tibet plateau from which the water originates are the Mansoor lakes are inside Tibet, China, and that this water travels into Gilgit-Baltistan and then comes into Kashmir. And there's one Gilgit river, and then there's Jhelum river that comes into Kashmir, and then they end up inside into the Indus. So water is basically coming from China. The sources are all these rivers are in China, in Tibet.
And China could just be the first one to build the dam, and no one gets the water.
China says that it wants to build thousands of dams.
Thousands of dams. Small, and they're very good at building dams. They've already built thousands of dams in the China region. India is also good at building dams. They've also built a few number of dams.
India is also good at making enemies all around its borders.
And
which China is not good at that.
And let's end the podcast. But that's where I would be my last discussion point is the military might of Pakistan versus the military might of India. Like, could you explain, or do you want me to explain how good the Navy is, how good the Air Force of Pakistan is, and how many?
If you can, if you want to.
Yeah. So if I'm just telling it to my audience, and now Pakistan is not a small nation at all. We have like over 250 million people, and we have like 200 jets, more than 1,500 tanks. We have got a navy that has submarines, and they're top of the class. And what was that submarine? Hura?
Hangur.
Hangur. Hangur was this submarine in 1971 war was responsible for downing a lot of military things.
Indian Navy assets.
The main Navy assets. And with the surface-to-air missiles and with the surface-to-surface missiles, and recently Pakistan for the past 1 or 2 weeks has been testing out all these different new sorts of weapons. Some of them are made by Pakistanis themselves. Some of them are joint collaborations between Pakistan and China. And with nuclear weapons, more than 200 nuclear weapons, and with a battle-hardened army, and with the courage and the philosophy to really engage in a war, which wars, yes, we have lost a few wars with India, but this is like the war that... क्या हुआ? क्या हिला?
Mike?
तो अब स्ट्रीम एंड हो गई और किसकी शक्ल नजर आ रही है? किसी की आ रही है?
So I think it's like we need to end this stream. So it's been a great.
Could you explain what about
the yes, you were talking about the military prowess of Pakistan versus that of India. But to end, because we've taken a lot of time of our audience also, if we really want to make a calculation, we should make a calculation of military prowess of Pakistan plus that of China plus that of our very close friends in the Middle East and our friendship, increasing friendship with Russia against the military prowess of India plus that of the US and plus that of Israel and plus that of the West, which are all in combination like losing in Ukraine already, which are not being successful in Gaza already. So that's the type of calculation we will have to make. It's going to be a very complex calculation, but I'm sure both the armies and the both of countries' national security, departments are going to be making those calculations right now, and hopefully sanity is going to prevail between us. Thanks.
Do you have a message for the audience?
That's the message for both the people of Pakistan and the people of India, that war is not good for anyone. It is just going to destroy the two countries. It's just going to destroy the livelihoods of millions of people, and it's going to be total destruction and havoc, because the enmity between the two countries is so big. So people should also try, especially people of India should try to put some pressure on their fanatic Modi government, because Congress was not like that. Congress was a little saner, So people should also try to put some pressure on the governments so that they don't want to...
Can you hear this mic, Fazan?
Die.
Hear this mic? Can you hear me? Yeah. And
okay,
also,
that's all I want to say.
Yeah,
thanks.
And in the ending comments, I would also, a reason for doing this podcast was to really tell Modi that we're not afraid, and nor are we afraid, but Indians should be the ones that are supposed to be afraid, because we are like tigers and they're like sheeps, and we're really going
Oh,
to
God. Yes.
go in India. Don't let cooler sense prevail. We're gonna go into India and we're gonna destroy the whole of India,
Oh, my God.
and no one is gonna stop us. And Modi doesn't know the power he's fighting with. So that's a befitting response.
Right.
And thank you so much for coming to our podcast. No one can see me,
Mm.
but to our audience as well, we have like. Two people who commented. Do you have your glasses? Do you want to respond to Mustafa Haroon? And then there's Nottingham Auto Recovery.
Oh.
So,
Mustafa is saying extremism is not Hindu or Muslim. It is common enemy. He's so right. Mustafa, you are so right. This extremism is our real enemy, actually. So let's hope that sanity prevails, and let's hope that we are, the whole humanity is able to counter this extremism that is really trying to destroy us all. And recovery, Otto says, war only brings destruction on both sides. Real strength is in protecting lives, not destroying them. Peace is the only victory worth fighting for. So good. So right. That's what I was saying. But again, peace will come only with strength. Peace will come only when the other side knows that you're not going to sit down without giving the right befitting response and proportional retaliation. So let's see again and hope for the best, and hope for correct restraint from both sides.
thank you guys. Thank you for watching this live stream. We'll catch you guys in the next one.